Hi guys, and welcome back to the Courageous Nerd YouTube channel for another interview. I'm Connor, and joining me is Hunter Dino to chat all about her role as Amelia in Power Rangers Dino Fury, which is now moving to Netflix. If you enjoyed this interview or the others on the channel, please be sure to like and subscribe. So welcome Hunter, and thanks for taking the time to speak with me today.
Thank you for having me.
For sure, and I suppose like fans of Power Rangers Dino Fury will know you as Amelia or like the Pink Ranger, but I suppose like going back in time, like how did your journey into acting first start?
So I actually booked my first commercial on my first birthday. My
Mm,
mom put me in the business when I was a baby. And then I grew up doing commercials because my hometown had a lot of them.
right,
And when I got like 17, 18, I really wanted to try TV and film. And I went to Atlanta for a little bit. And then in 2019, I went to LA because I was like, I need to push further.
right.
And then here I am.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, Dino Fury, like I just mentioned, it's like a in a long line of various like iterations of this concept. And I suppose like how familiar were you with like prior like shows of Power Rangers, or like was it daunting to kind of join that legacy?
So I definitely watched them growing up. I don't
Yeah,
think that I was like that fan that watched it every
yeah,
time
yeah,
it came out, but I
for
definitely
sure.
knew what it was, and I definitely like ran around the neighborhood playing Power Rangers because I feel like that's a
Mm,
rite of passage as a child. Um,
yeah,
um, it's quite strange. It still hasn't hit me that I'm a part of this huge legacy that is known worldwide, and especially to be the Pink Ranger is quite
right.
iconic.
Yeah, yeah, because I actually did watch it like quite a bit in my own like youth, I guess. And I actually know there was at one point a Power Ranger called Hunter, but it was a guy, but
It
still
was
called
green,
Hunter.
right?
No, I think it was like Crimson. It was like weird. It was like the only ever
Okay.
time they had that color. But yeah, I think it was something like that, or navy.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. It was like a different one than what's normally there. But
Hmm.
yeah, yeah, I just remembered that
It's
as we
fun.
were talking. But
Yeah.
yeah, and I guess obviously on this show, like your character is like I believe a journalist, kind of, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, and I suppose then like how like similar or different would you say Amelia is then to the other characters you played before?
Um, I don't think I've played a character that has been that in depth yet.
Mm,
This is quite my first full-on character to actually deep dive into. So
yeah,
I think it's a little different to compare them, but I don't think that I've had a character so driven as
right.
Amelia is. She's so strong-headed, and when she puts her mind to something, she definitely goes for it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously you mentioned the fact that she's like the Pink Ranger, and obviously the connection with that, I guess well lineage, it might be a good word for it, but I know like some like connotations is that the person wearing the pink suit in the past might have been like the most like girly or like feminine. I mean, obviously there's the color pink and the connotations with that, but like, would you say like Amelia kind of upholds that trend or like defies it?
I definitely think she has that side of her that is really girly.
Mm,
I definitely think that she is up on the fashion trends and she gets ready every morning and that kind of thing. But I do think that she has that time where she doesn't mind getting a little dirty if it's for like a story or if it's
yeah.
to like beat some monsters behind, I don't
Mm.
think that she's afraid to get to that point, but for the most part, she's pretty girly, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And I know that I think in all of them it's like set in America, but like I think more recently they've shot it in New Zealand. Is that the case for you guys? And like then I suppose how was your experience of shooting over there?
Yeah, so I think ever since, I don't know how many years it's shot in New Zealand, but it's been quite a long time since they moved everything over to New
Yeah,
Zealand.
probably about
Um,
20 years, I think.
yeah, quite a long
Yeah,
time. I have never really been outside of North America except for like the Bahamas. So that
right.
was one really exciting for me because I do want to see the world. And two, it was really a different experience filming for 9 months there just because there is no COVID and
Mm,
there is no restrictions. And obviously the culture is different and the people and the time difference and everything.
Mm.
But I actually really found myself loving New Zealand, and I find myself missing it now that I'm not there.
Yeah, because and obviously, like you mentioned, COVID, and that's been like going on for a while now. So did that affect like when you were last there, or was it like not around yet? Was it that far back?
So we went last September, so it was
Okay.
way after COVID, but we had to go over and we had to do the 2 week government quarantine, had to get tested and all of that kind of stuff. But once we were out of quarantine, it was pretty much normal. There was only 2 or 3 lockdowns that we had. It was when
Yeah.
there was the case in the city that where we went to level 3 and we weren't allowed to film, but it didn't really last. I think our longest time on our lockdown was a week,
Okay.
so it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. And I suppose like just kind of changing topic a little bit, but like how would you say your show like stands out from the other like versions of this kind of wider concept?
Um, I can't really say too much, but I
Mm.
do want to say that we are the seasons of like firsts. We have had a lot of firsts and we will have a lot of firsts. And I think the audience will be very surprised with a lot of things that are coming, but like in a really good way, because it's all really exciting
Mm.
and just really new. And I think it's like broadening the idea of the show just a little bit. We're actually really, really excited for everyone to see for so many reasons.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly what you're referring to because obviously you're being vague to like, protect spoilers or anything, but kind of working off of that, I think I've got an idea of what you might be talking about because I believe you guys are moving like to Netflix, is that right? For it?
Mhm.
And obviously like Netflix is, kind of has a space for more maturity than, when it's geared more towards like younger people. So I don't know if
Mhm.
that was what you were talking about. Like, is that like something that was explored, like the possibilities that that platform has versus if you're on like a kids channel or whatever, a kids network.
I don't necessarily think that switching platforms is a major key to the storyline. It's more
Mm.
so character plots and stuff like that. Like we have our first female Green Ranger,
Oh,
and
okay.
we have our first sixth African American Ranger, and our first, just like a bunch of firsts like that
Oh,
in
okay.
the actual storyline rather than in like the backside
Yeah,
aspect of it. Yeah.
I got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I suppose like on another kind of angle, kind of approaching this, like what advice or what do you think people are surprised by like when they're starting out in the industry? Do you think there's anything that people should know more about?
If it's a dream of yours, you should really pursue it. It's something that's very exciting, and I'm all for everyone going for what they want in life and just go
Mm.
full force with it. Be yourself, trust the process. Don't get
Yeah.
discouraged because for all the no's, there will be a yes.
Mm.
There will be.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, speaking like on my end, I've had like really great conversations with people like on that kind of note and like the perseverance it takes. Because I think it'd be easy just to assume like, oh yeah, I just get an audition, I might be able to be on TV or be in a film, but obviously it's a lot more work than I
Mm.
think the average person might think. I think, I mean, without not an actor myself, maybe speak to it a bit. I mean, surely it might be a bit soul crushing at times if like you're really close and then it doesn't pan out your way, right? Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, I mean, I think in like 2019, I had over 100 auditions,
Mm.
and I think I've been through all of it. So, like, I've booked a role and they cut me 24 hours before filming. I've
Mm.
booked a role, they cut the entire scene that I was in a week before filming. I've been put on hold and then just released. I've shot some stuff and then they've cut most of it. I've been through the thick of it, and yeah, I mean, don't get discouraged because that is like just the business. It just happens. And it's
Yeah,
something that like you just have to push through, because if it's something that you really want to do, you should just keep going.
yeah. And I think another aspect of that, which again, I might be misinformed on this, is that people can be, I guess, removed from projects, but for really like arbitrary reasons, like not necessarily a reflection on them, they might look too much like the lead, or they might be too tall amongst the rest of the group. I mean, is that something you think happens a lot? I mean, I think I've definitely heard of it, but I don't know how common it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a puzzle. I've definitely gotten feedback before where it was like, hey, your audition was really good. They really enjoyed you, but you look too much like so and so who's already attached to the project.
Mm,
Or like, I've been told that I was too tall before because the lead with me or whatever, or whoever would be like my counterpart would be shorter than me, and
yeah,
so on and so forth. So just because you didn't book something doesn't mean that it wasn't your acting either. It's a complete puzzle.
yeah. And I suppose like away from like the acting kind of world, like what do you enjoy doing when you're not doing that?
Um, I don't really have too many like hobbies. Like I'm
Mm,
actually about to start getting into like archery because I think that that's really cool and I would love to
yeah.
do that for a role. Um, I really just like spending time with like my friends and family. Like I love going to the beach, or like I have a ranch with cows, so I like just like going and hanging out with the cows.
Mm.
Anything outdoors really. I love hikes. Hikes are my thing as well.
Yeah, I mean, is that something you would recommend then, like learning those kind of skills, just in case, there's ever a part that comes up where they're like, if you know how to do this, and that you hear that people lie that they know how to do it, and then kind of have to quickly learn the skill and then try and, would you recommend doing that? I mean, or like not until it's absolutely necessary.
Um, I think if you have the time and the resources to learn a fun skill, I think it's definitely something that's worth having in your pocket.
Mm,
Um, I don't think like don't go out of your way for like a specific one because you never know which like skill you'll need.
yeah,
Um, but I definitely don't recommend lying on a skill on your resume or CVV.
yeah,
It's like I don't, they'll know, they'll find out, and then it just
mm,
won't make you look good. Uh, but for me, I had grown up doing like kickboxing and all of that
right,
athletic kind of stuff, and I had a lot of friends in the stunt community, so I had some skill in that aspect, and that is where it did come into
yeah.
it did come in handy for this project.
Yeah, I mean, would that be an easy like transition where if you've got like that athletic background and you're playing a character who might do something that you don't personally do, but you can kind of pick it up because you've got the background in like, the sports and whatever, would that be something that would
Mhm.
ever happen?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think so. Like Kai, Blue Ranger, he used to box all the time, and like he didn't really think, I don't know, so sorry, Kai, if this is not
Mm,
true, but I don't think that he was doing it for acting. I think it was just a sport that he really liked doing, and then it just happened to come into like the fighting aspect. And I know
yeah,
boxing is different, but at least it'll help transition into learning stage combat.
for sure. And I suppose then like aside from Dino Fury, like are there any other upcoming projects you can discuss at this time?
Not at the moment.
Mm,
I just got back. I think I haven't even been home for like 3 weeks, so
yeah,
not yet.
yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, I guess then best of luck with like your search to find something.
Thank
Then
you.
yeah, and well, maybe then on that note, like professionally or personally, then what do you hope to accomplish with the rest of this year?
I haven't really set a goal list for this year yet. I decided to get new reps when I came back, so like that's exciting for me because of new opportunities. My best friend and I are looking for a house to live together in LA, just little
Mm,
things like that. Spend more quality time with my family since I was gone for 9 months. I got to make up for that.
right.
Just work on myself and make sure that I'm all good for what's next.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is actually like the last pre-prepared question I've got, like to like round this off. But I guess
Okay.
maybe then imagine a scenario where like someone's found this interview and they're like, hang on a second, there's a new Power Rangers. Like, I don't know anything about this. Like, how would you kind of set it up or like explain it to that person who might be completely unfamiliar with it?
How would I explain Power Rangers to someone?
Or no, or like the premise of your show, because there's like different, you know,
Oh,
yeah, like, I mean,
okay,
like
okay, okay.
there's some that are like set in space and like different things like that. There's like different kind of genres within in and of themselves, right? So
Oh, there's so much to our show. There's so much to it. Wow. I'm not even really sure how to summarize it, especially with what's out already.
Right.
It's definitely centered around, oh wow. Our Red Ranger Zato has been woken up after 65 million years. So we're
Right.
definitely going to try to find answers for him. And within finding those answers with him, we also learn to be these Power Rangers and superheroes that protect the city. And along with finding those answers for him, we come across all of these hardships and obstacles, and we always work towards it together, and we
Mm.
always will try to solve it to our best abilities, as long as we all know that like we work together and that we're going to be okay. And we find out some pretty juicy stuff later on, so
Mm.
like I'm really excited for that. I
Yeah.
don't know how to like stop the summary at a certain point.
No, 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 yeah. I mean, especially if you're not trying to give anything away, I think that was a
Yeah.
great kind of tease, or like, yeah, for sure. I think people get a lot of information out of that without
Okay.
knowing too much. So yeah,
Okay, good.
definitely good job with that for sure. I suppose just to say then, like, best of luck with the show and with your other ventures going forward, and to say
Thank you.
thanks for taking the time and all the best and stay safe.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.